This is The Wire for 2200 Zulu, October 23rd, 2024. Precedence is routine. Information cutoff is 2100. Bottom line up front. Terror attack strikes Turkey. Journalist wounded at campaign event in Missouri. Beginning with international events. In Turkey, a terror attack was conducted this morning at the Turkish Aerospace Industries complex in Ankara. Multiple gunmen assaulted the industrial facility this morning with small arms and hand grenades. Early this morning, it was reported that hostages had been taken by the assailants, who were holding employees of the facility for unknown purposes. So far, 5 fatalities have been reported, along with around a dozen wounded. Analysts comment. This attack was likely planned to coincide with President Erdogan's arrival in Russia for the BRICS summit, which occurred just a few hours before the attack began. Most Turkish media is blaming the attack on PKK militants, which is likely considering the long-standing historical conflict between Turkey and the semi-autonomous Kurdish region of northern Iraq. Of note, immediately after the attack, most social media was cut throughout Turkey. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter or X, TikTok, and YouTube were all immediately restricted, probably to prevent footage of the attacks from circulating. This is yet another reminder that in some nations, censorship is the knee-jerk reaction to any major event. This further complicates the situation and prevents citizens from knowing if the threats are isolated or part of a more coordinated attack. This is a very important consideration to remember, as a citizenry might only get notification of a single event occurring, because follow-on attacks will likely take place under a blanket of censorship. For now, this attack appears to be an isolated event in Turkey, though time will tell if other attacks take place in the near future. On the home front, in the United States, Boeing continues to experience setbacks in the form of equipment failure in space. Boeing's IS-33E communications satellite catastrophically exploded a few days ago. The U.S. Space Force is tracking the debris field, which largely consists of approximately 20 pieces of debris. No word has been provided yet regarding what caused the satellite to explode in orbit. Analysts comment. Satellite failures are more common than one might think, however one exploding in orbit is quite rare. As with most critical infrastructure failures within the United States, discerning whether an incident was the result of incompetence or malice remains challenging. While most will be quick to assign blame to Boeing with regards to Boeing's long history of shoddy workmanship, one would do well to remember that a new form of space race has been underway for years, with most major power players around the world attempting to develop weapons for use in targeting adversarial satellites. So far, no indications are present that this explosion might have been the result of a hostile act. However, an investigation into this incident will surely examine this possibility. In Missouri, the Democratic candidate running for Senate, Lucas Kuntz, accidentally shot a journalist during a campaign event. KSHB-TV journalist Ryan Gamboa was hit in the arm, suffering non-life-threatening injuries via what was likely spalling and/or a ricochet from the targets used during a range day campaign event. As inadequate medical care was provided for the wounded journalist at the scene, Gamboa was transported to a local hospital for actual care. Analysts comment. The observations regarding this event are numerous and vivid. Though the incalculable safety violations at this event make determining a cause for this incident challenging, this casualty was almost certainly caused due to the event participants engaging steel targets with rifles at very close range. Steel targets are only used at considerable range with rifles, as the risk of ricochet and/or spalling is too great at close range. Somewhat ironically, a bystander receiving a gunshot wound, and thus stopping the event, probably saved lives. Photos of this event indicate multiple containers of tannerite on the bench, indicating that these explosive targets were intended to be used on the improvised range. As such, if the event had proceeded and tannerite targets had been used in the vicinity of steel targets, at a distance so close that even zeroing the rifle would be challenging, it's very likely that the resulting explosive fragmentation could have caused a mass casualty event. As gun control and Kuntz's alleged experience with firearms have been a major campaign issue, it is unclear as to how this incident will affect other campaign events, though shooting a reporter is likely to appeal to many voters. As Kuntz referred to this event as a great day at the range, questions remain as to how often these incidents happen at Democratic firearms events, for someone getting shot to be referred to with the insinuation that it was a minor incident. No apology has been issued by Kuntz regarding this incident, nor has any admission of wrongdoing been put in writing. In Maryland, Monday afternoon, 46 employees of the NAFCO seafood processing facility in Jessup were hospitalized allegedly for food poisoning. The cause of the poisoning incident was allegedly personal food that was brought to the facility by one employee to sell to the others for lunch. A statement released by the company yesterday confirmed that this incident did not involve any of the food processed at the plant. Analyst comments for this wire. While somewhat unthought of, something as innocuous as a case of mass food poisoning can become quite serious when compounded with other factors. 46 people showing up to an emergency room with severe sickness is a mass casualty event and overwhelmed local emergency services for a few hours. As such, if another unrelated incident had occurred, resources that are already stretched thin would become even more strained, especially considering that the treatment of food poisoning generally ties up a hospital bed for some time and often requires intravenous therapy. Keeping in mind that hospitals around the country are still rationing IV supplies due to Hurricane Helene taking out the Baxter Healthcare factory in western North Carolina, this is a constant reminder that a few people getting a stomachache can cascade into becoming a major problem for many localized areas. This concludes the wire for 2200 Zulu, October 23rd, 2024.